The joke slipped out of my mouth on a rainy evening, and for a few seconds, neither of us laughed. "At this rate, you'll never get married." The words were meant to be harmless. Just another joke between two friends who had spent years teasing each other. But the moment she looked up at me, with rainwater glistening on her hair and sadness hidden behind a faint smile, she said something that changed the course of my entire life. "What if it's you?" I stood frozen. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the unexpected ways life brings people together, take a moment to like this video, leave a comment, share it with someone you care about, and subscribe to the channel. Stories like this remind us that sometimes the greatest blessings arrive when we least expect them. I wish I could tell you that I immediately understood what she meant. I wish I could say that my heart raced and I realized I had been in love with her all along. But life is rarely that simple. Instead, I laughed nervously and changed the subject. And that was the biggest mistake of my life. Her name was Sarah. We had known each other for almost 8 years. She lived 3 houses away from me in a quiet neighborhood where everyone knew everyone else's business. We grew up sharing the same streets, the same grocery stores, the same coffee shops, and eventually the same circle of friends. Sarah was the kind of person who made life easier for everyone around her. She remembered birthdays. She checked on sick neighbors. She volunteered at community events. She helped struggling students after work. She never seemed to run out of kindness. Yet despite everything she gave to others, life never seemed eager to give much back to her. She had been engaged once. The relationship lasted 4 years. Everyone thought they would get married. Then one day her fiancé left. No explanation that made sense. No warning. Just a phone call and a goodbye. I still remember the weeks afterward. She stopped smiling. Stopped attending gatherings. Stopped being herself. The woman who had spent years helping others suddenly found herself carrying a pain nobody could remove. I tried my best to be there. Sometimes that meant bringing groceries. Sometimes it meant sitting quietly beside her. Sometimes it meant making stupid jokes until she laughed. Slowly, she recovered. At least that's what everyone believed. But heartbreak leaves scars that aren't visible. Years passed. Friends got married. Started families. Moved forward with life. Sarah remained alone. Not because nobody wanted her. Many people did. But every time someone got close, she found a reason to pull away. Fear had built walls around her heart. And nobody seemed capable of climbing over them. Then came that rainy evening. The evening of the joke. The evening she looked at me and asked, "What if it's you?" For weeks afterward, I couldn't stop thinking about it. Not because I believed she loved me. But because deep down, a question had started growing inside my own heart. What if she was right? What if the person I had been searching for wasn't somewhere far away? What if she had been beside me all along? The problem was that I wasn't exactly in a great position myself. At 33 years old, my life was falling apart. The company where I worked announced major layoffs. 3 weeks later, I lost my job. Everything changed overnight. Bills piled up. Savings disappeared. Stress became my constant companion. I spent months sending applications and receiving rejection after rejection. Each email felt like another reminder that I wasn't good enough. The confidence I had built over years slowly crumbled. Some mornings I struggled to get out of bed. Some nights I stared at the ceiling wondering if life would ever improve. During those difficult months, one person never disappeared. Sarah. She called regularly. Checked on me. Brought homemade food when she knew I wasn't eating properly. Encouraged me when I wanted to quit. Believed in me when I couldn't believe in myself. And yet I remained blind. I convinced myself she was simply being kind. After all, kindness was who she was. Months later, I finally found another job. The pay wasn't impressive. The hours were long. But it was a fresh start. For the first time in nearly a year, hope returned. I wanted to celebrate. So I invited several friends to dinner. Sarah came too. That night, as everyone laughed and shared stories, I noticed something strange. She looked tired. Not physically. Emotionally. Like someone carrying a burden she hadn't spoken about. When the evening ended, I walked her home. Halfway there, she admitted the truth. Her father had been diagnosed with a serious illness. The treatments were expensive. The future was uncertain. And she was terrified. I had never seen her so vulnerable. For years she had been the strong one. The helper. The caregiver. Now she was the one who needed support. Without thinking, I promised I wouldn't let her face it alone. And I meant every word. The following months became some of the hardest either of us had ever experienced. Hospital visits. Medical bills. Sleepless nights. Endless uncertainty. There were days when Sarah looked completely exhausted. Days when she sat silently in waiting rooms trying not to cry. Days when hope seemed impossible. But somehow we kept moving forward. Together. The more time we spent side by side, the more obvious something became. My happiest moments were the moments that included her. A simple conversation. A shared cup of coffee. A walk after sunset. Nothing extraordinary. Yet everything felt meaningful. For the first time, I began imagining a future. Not my future. Our future. Still, fear stopped me. What if I ruined our friendship? What if she didn't mean what she had said that rainy evening? What if I lost the most important person in my life? So I stayed silent. Weeks became months. Months became nearly a year. Then one afternoon everything changed again. Sarah's father passed away. The grief hit her like a storm. She had spent so long fighting for him that she didn't know how to live without him. The funeral was heartbreaking. Watching her stand there beside her family broke something inside me. I realized how fragile life truly was. How quickly opportunities disappear. How many words remain unsaid until it's too late. That night I sat alone thinking about every moment I had wasted. Every fear that had controlled me. Every excuse that had prevented me from being honest. And suddenly I knew. I couldn't remain silent anymore. A week later, I asked Sarah to meet me at the small park where we had spent countless evenings talking. The same park where children played after school. The same park where elderly couples walked hand in hand. The same park where life somehow felt simpler. I was terrified. More terrified than I had ever been. When she arrived, I could barely speak. For several seconds, I simply stared at her. Then I finally told her everything. I told her about the rainy evening. I told her about the question that never left my mind. I told her how much she meant to me. I told her that somewhere between friendship and years of shared memories, I had fallen deeply in love with her. When I finished, silence filled the air. The longest silence of my life. Then tears appeared in her eyes. Not tears of sadness. Tears of relief. She confessed that she had been waiting. Waiting for months. Waiting for years. Waiting for me to realize what she had known for a very long time. The woman I thought I might lose had been hoping I would choose her all along. For the first time, neither of us ran from the truth. And in that moment, something beautiful began. Love didn't magically erase our problems. Life remained complicated. There were financial struggles. Family responsibilities. Moments of doubt. Moments of fear. But there was also something stronger than all those obstacles. There was partnership. For years we had carried our burdens alone. Now we carried them together. 2 years later, on another rainy evening, I stood beside Sarah once again. This time holding a small ring. This time with no hesitation. This time with complete certainty. When I asked her to marry me, she laughed through tears. The same laugh I had spent years trying to protect. The same laugh that had brightened countless difficult days. The same laugh that reminded me why I loved her. She said yes before I could even finish asking. Our wedding wasn't extravagant. There were no luxury venues. No expensive decorations. No grand displays of wealth. Just family. Friends. Love. And gratitude. As I watched her walk toward me that day, I realized something important. The greatest love stories aren't always dramatic. Sometimes they're built slowly. Through years of friendship. Acts of kindness. Moments of support. And the courage to finally speak the truth. Today, whenever someone asks how we met, Sarah still loves telling the story of the joke that changed everything. The joke that wasn't really a joke. The moment fate quietly opened a door neither of us expected. And every time she tells it, she smiles at me and says that sometimes people spend years searching for happiness, only to discover it has been standing beside them the entire time. Before this story ends, leave a comment and tell us, have you ever realized too late that someone special was already in your life? If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Your support helps these emotional stories reach people who may need hope today. And one more thing before you go, tell us which country you're watching from. It's always amazing to see how many people around the world connect through stories of love, kindness, and second chances. Because sometimes one simple question can change everything. What if it's you? And sometimes, it really is.